Hello, sweet soul, and welcome back to Brit's Bedtime Stories. Tonight's story is the very first chapter in a new healing series centered around attachment style, emotional safety, nervous system healing, psychology, neuroplasticity, and the deeply human journey of learning how to love one another more gently. These stories are designed to be soothing and cozy, but also quietly transformative, blending storytelling with real emotional wisdom inspired by attachment theory, somatic healing, mindfulness, philosophy, and neuroscience. So, if you've ever feared abandonment, overthought silence, struggled to communicate your needs, or longed for calmer, safer love, I hope tonight's story helps your nervous system soften just a little. And if these stories bring you comfort, peace, or healing in any way, I'd truly love for you to gently support this corner of the internet by liking, subscribing, or sharing the video with someone who may need it too. Every bit of support helps this healing space continue to grow and reach more beautiful, sweet souls searching for rest, understanding, healing, and emotional safety. Now, get cozy, dim the lights a little, unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, and let the rain outside melt softly into the background as we begin tonight's story. This is the night she counted minutes between messages. Rain traced silver rivers down Clara's apartment windows, while the city glowed quietly beneath the storm. The world outside looked soft tonight. Blurred headlights, fogged glass, golden apartment windows glowing in distant towers like tiny lanterns floating in the dark. Clara curled deeper beneath the oversized blanket wrapped around her legs, a mug of peppermint tea warming her hands, while her phone rested face up beside her on the couch. Still nothing. Her eyes flicked toward the screen again. No message. 7 minutes. No, 8 now. Her chest tightened before her thoughts even caught up. Funny, she thought, how quickly the body learns fear. She knew logically Julien was probably just busy. Maybe he was driving, maybe showering, maybe decompressing after work, maybe his phone battery died. There were countless reasonable explanations, but anxious nervous systems rarely wait for reason before sounding the alarm. Her body remembered abandonment faster than her mind remembered reality. And tonight, it was remembering everything. The unanswered texts from old lovers, the slow fades, the confusion, the inconsistency, the ache of feeling emotionally stranded while pretending to be easygoing. Clara stared at the little delivered beneath her last message, a simple message. How did your meeting go? That was all. And yet, somehow her nervous system had transformed it into, he's losing interest. You said too much. You care more. You're becoming annoying. You are about to be abandoned again. The human brain was strange like that, especially wounded ones. It searched for patterns to protect itself, even when those patterns were old ghosts wearing new faces. Thunder rolled softly outside. Clara pulled the blanket tighter around herself and inhaled slowly through her nose. Her therapist once told her something interesting. The nervous system loves prediction, she said gently. Even unhealthy patterns can feel safer than uncertainty because the brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar peace. At the time, Clara hated hearing that because it explained way too much. Why chaos felt magnetic, why inconsistency felt intoxicating, why calm people sometimes felt boring, why silence from someone she loved could make her entire body feel unsafe. Attachment wasn't just emotional, it was psychological. The body kept score in tiny, invisible ways. Tightened stomach muscles, shallow breathing, racing thoughts, checking phones, catastrophizing silence. And tonight, her nervous system was trying very hard to survive a danger that might not even exist. Her fingers hovered over her phone. She could send another text. You know, something casual or playful or apologetic for absolutely no reason at all. Maybe, hey, sorry if I interrupted your evening, or never mind. Or maybe she could simply disappear first before he had the chance to leave her behind. That familiar urge rose hot in her chest. Protest behavior. Her therapist had taught her that term too. The frantic things anxious hearts sometimes do to regain connection. Overtexting, withdrawing suddenly, starting arguments, testing love, seeking reassurance, indirectly, of course. Not because they were manipulative, because they were truly scared. Clara set the phone face down instead. Then she noticed something. Her breathing, fast, high in her chest. The panic had arrived quietly, the way rain slowly floods streets before anyone notices the water rising. Outside, the storm deepened. Inside, Clara pressed one hand gently against her sternum, not to silence herself, not to shame herself, just to notice, to witness. I feel abandoned right now, she whispered softly into the dim apartment. Not, I am abandoned. There was a difference, a profound one. One was fear, the other was fact. And nervous systems healed in the space between those two things. She breathed again, slowly this time, in and out. The tea steam curled warmly through the room. The rain softened. 9 minutes now, then 10. Her chest tightened again. Healing, unfortunately, was not linear. She laughed quietly to herself. Okay, maybe I'm mildly insane, but this time the laughter carried warmth instead of shame, and that mattered too. Self-compassion rewired people differently than self-criticism ever could. Across the city, Julien sat alone inside his parked car beneath the storm. Beside him, he had seen Clara's message almost immediately, and then he froze. Not because he didn't care, because he cared enough to feel pressure. Pressure to respond correctly, pressure to be emotionally available, pressure to not disappoint her. Julien leaned back against the seat and exhaled heavily. People often misunderstood avoidant nervous systems. They assumed distance meant indifference. But sometimes distance was overwhelm wearing armor. Julien had spent most of his life believing emotions became dangerous when they grew too intense. His childhood taught him, handle things alone, stay composed, don't burden others, retreat when overwhelmed. So, when emotional closeness deepened, his nervous system quietly pulled the emergency brake. Not out of cruelty, out of survival. And the worst part, he knew his silence hurt people, which made him avoid even more. A painful loop. He picked up the phone again, read her message one more time. How did your meeting go? Simple, warm, loving. His chest softened. Then finally, after staring at the screen far too long, Julien typed, sorry for disappearing for a bit. My social battery crashed after the meeting. I'm okay though. And honestly, your message made me smile. Clara's phone lit softly against the couch cushion. Her stomach dropped instantly. Fear first, always fear first. Then she opened the message, and something inside her loosened. Not because anxiety vanished magically, but because she had paused before feeding it. For the first time in a long time, Clara had interrupted the old pattern, and the brain learns through interruption. That's how neuroplasticity begins. Tiny moments, tiny pauses, tiny new choices, repeated gently over time. Outside, rain continued washing softly against the windows while the city shimmered beneath the storm. Clara smiled faintly down at her phone. Then, instead of punishing him, instead of pretending she wasn't affected, instead of exploding or withdrawing, she answered honestly, "I understand. Thanks for telling me. My nervous system was definitely trying to convince me you vanished forever again." 3 dots appeared almost immediately this time. Then, I'm trying to get better at communicating before I disappear into my cave. Clara laughed softly beneath the blanket, and somewhere deep inside her chest, something unfamiliar began blooming quietly in the dark. Not intensity, not obsession, not chaos. Safety. Small, fragile, new, but real. Tonight, Clara's nervous system learned something important. Silence does not always mean abandonment. And Julien learned something too. Needing space becomes far less painful when it is communicated with care. The brain learns through repetition, through emotional experiences, through pauses that interrupt old survival patterns. And maybe healing is not becoming fearless. Maybe healing is learning how to stay gentle with ourselves while fear passes through. And tonight, sweet soul, may your nervous system remember you are worthy of love. You are worthy of communication. You are worthy of softness. You are worthy of reassurance. You are worthy of healthy space. You are worthy of a love that feels peaceful and healthy within the mind, body, and spirit. You are doing so well, and you're allowed to rest now. You're allowed to feel safe again. There you go. There you go. Sweet dreams, sweet soul, and good night.